everybody, and welcome to the Bleach review. I'm really sorry I didn't manage to do one last week. I had family concerns, but I decided this week I would do a double review of episodes 4 and 5, just to make sure everybody's caught up and they didn't miss anything. So let's get straight into it, shall we? First of all, episode 4, To Kill a Shadow, opens up with a recap of the last 3 episodes, just to make sure that we all confirm the Sternritters arriving in the Soul Society, the Pillars of Reishi, and the battles that were about to take place. It opens up after the recap with a beautiful shot of all the pillars just there, and all of the captains of the Soul Society going, "Oh, Pillars of Reishi, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?" It then cuts to letting you know the 25 squads have already been slaughtered by the Sternritters. They have been killed straight away. We then cut straight through back to Squad 3 barracks, where Captain Rose faces off against Sternritter U. Get this right, Naman and Najiku. They basically sit there and talk for a while, because the chapter's called When My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's a beautiful song, because Rose has a musical bankai, which I will not get into any more spoilers of, because it still has not been revealed. We then cut to Sternritter R, the Fear. Sternritter F, the Fear. Asnort, who is cutting his way through the Squad 6 barracks like a hot knife through butter. We then cut to Renji, Renji comes in, stands up, cuts in, bang! Can never remember the name of his Shikai. Sends his extendo blade in and boom, hits the Fear and comes off. So Renji shows up. It then cuts to Sternritter E, the explosion. Bambietta Basbidan, right, fighting Captain Kunomura, the large dog. It then quick cut to show all the battles for the foreseeable future of all the Sternritters. They're going to be showing off against all the Bankai. It was a very, very quick shot of the Soul Reapers and Sternritters one-on-one, which we will get to as time goes on. It then cuts back to Bambietta fighting Kunomura. It then cuts away from Bambietta fighting Kunomura. Cuts back to Renji with his fight with Asnort the Fear. And Masquerade the Masculine, who shows up. Masquerade the Masculine is a Sternritter who is kind of like a professional wrestler, wears a luchador mask and does drop kicks and everything else. He appears to fight Renji. We then cut to the research and development wing, where Mayori is studying what they're doing with the Bankai, and he comes to the conclusion that they aren't sealing the Bankai, they are stealing their Bankais. It then cuts back to Renji, this fight with Asnort and Masquerade the Masculine, where Byakuya shows up. Byakuya Kuchiki, one of the most powerful Soul Reapers, shows up, uses Senbone Zakura, begins the fight, manages to cut the Fear's hands, which Renji has not managed to do up to this point. Then he decides that he's going to use Senbone Zakura. Big mistake, because the Fear instantly pulls out the medallions the Sternritters have been using to steal the Bankai and steals away Senbone Zakura from Byakuya Kuchiki. We then cut back to Captain Kamamura fighting Bambietta. Tagaya fighting Sternritter I, the Iron Kendo. Then quickly cut away to the Squad 2 barracks, where Soifong is fighting Sternritter K, the Knowledge. Basically, it then cuts to all the captains who use their all the captains start to use their Bankai, and each of these captains, from Hitsugaya to Byakuya to Kunomura, they all have their Bankai stolen by the Sternritters. They're facing. It looks like it's going to Soul Society at this point, because without their Bankai, what real hope do the captains have fighting the Sternritters? Not really a lot. Cut to Shinsui, the man who wears the straw hat and the beautiful flowered robe, who has the twin Shikai, fighting Robert, one of the Sternritters, Sternritter R, who then uses a gun and proceeds to shoot out Shinsui's eye. We then cut to the research and development wing of the Soul Society, who are so desperate they decide to call Ichigo Kurosaki. They're like, we need to get Ichigo in here. He's the only person whose Bankai wasn't able to be stolen, so we need to get Ichigo here. So they call Ichigo on his soul phone. Urahara answers the soul phone, basically says that Ichigo's a bit busy, still fighting Quillhei OP. Ichigo then completely owns Quillhei, puts a big giant hole through his chest, and Captain Urahara gets him to leave through the Garganta, to go into the Soul Society to help with the war. Just as this happening, Quillhei rises from the ground, because for some reason, even though he's got a giant hole in his chest, he's not dead, and uses his ability J, the jail, on the Garganta, that basically seals Ichigo inside a ball of reishi, which is done like jail bars, obviously, because it's the jail. A brilliant shot. The animation on this was just phenomenal. You cannot complain at all. The studio that they've got working on this series of Bleach is second to none. It's gorgeous to look at. Ichigo remains trapped in the Garganta and he can't find his way out. And yeah, that's basically how episode 4 ends, with Ichigo being sealed within the jail. So by the time episode 4 has ended, 5 of the captains have had their Bankai stolen. Renji and Byakuya Kuchiki are fighting the Stern Ritter F, and they're not having a good job at it. Kunomura is fighting Stern Ritter, and he's not having a good job at it. None of them are really having a good job of it at all. They are getting their asses handed to them, and Ichigo is nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. We then move on. So that was episode 4, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the quick one, but I'm just trying to get through this as fast as possible today, and then next week we'll get back to the full review of 1 episode a week. We then cut to episode 5. Wrath of Lightning. The Soul Society Research and Development Wing, where they are waiting on Ichigo, but they've realised that his spiritual pressure has disappeared in the Garganta and they can't get him here. Something has happened, they don't know what it is, but everybody starts to panic. They then manage to get through to Ichigo's phone, who is in the jail. As Ichigo answers the phone, all he can hear is screaming and murder and death. People going, help us, we're all gonna die. So on and so forth. Quite a harrowing scene, but necessary for the plot of the thing. He then comes back to Ichigo in the jail, and he's doing everything he can to get out, but for some reason he cannot smash his way out of this jail. It's just too strong. We then cut to Byakuya and Renji trying to work out exactly what the fear exactly what they can do against the fear. Byakuya basically turns around and says, Renji, watch me fight. Learn her skills and then use your Bankai to defeat her, because mine is gone. You're the only hope we have left. Stern Ritter F then uses Byakuya's Bankai against him. And you notice something straight away is, even though these Bankai have been stolen from the Soul Reapers, they are nowhere near as powerful as they would be when they were used by the Soul Reapers. Because obviously it takes a Soul Reaper thousands of years to master their Bankai, whereas these Stern Ritters are stealing them and attempting to use them in one day, whereas they know how they work, but they don't know the intricacies, the level of control necessary to use it in full whack. It cuts away from this fight for a second, shows you Hitsugai's fight, shows you Rukia's fight, shows you Soifong's fight against all the different Stern Ritters, but unfortunately they're just not going well. It's not going well at all. It then cuts back to Renji and Byakuya, who are getting their asses handed to them. They are getting absolutely pwned by Stern Ritter F, like without a shadow of a doubt. We then cut to a shot of Kenpachi Zaraki. One of my favourite characters, Kenpachi Zaraki, walking up carrying 3 Stern Ritters on his shoulders who are all dead, just walking up to Yuha and Hashwolf as if they're nothing and basically saying, "Bump, this is the best you've got. They tried to take me out, good luck with that." Hashwolf then faces off against face-off against Kenpachi. Kenpachi then ignores Hashwolf and goes straight for Yuha, who blocks Kenpachi's Zanpakuto with his forearm, showing you just how powerful he is, because he can block it with his bare flesh and there's not even a scar. The 3 Stern Ritters he was carrying are the Stern Ritter Q, the Question, Stern Ritter R, the Raw, and Stern Ritter Y, the Yourself. All of them have now been taken out of the story and dead, as opposed to filling up with just needless arc length. They're getting through this quite fast to make sure that everything is neat and tidy, and I appreciate that in the show. There's no filler, and I appreciate anything that has no filler. Shuhei Hisagi. Shuhei Hisagi is fighting Driscoll, Stern Ritter O, the Overkill. The way Driscoll's powers work is the more people he kills, the stronger he gets. He's already killed over 100 people, so he believes he's unbeatable at this point. He slams Shuhei through a wall, goes in for the killing stroke, and it is blocked by Old Man Yamamoto, the captain of Squad 1. The hardest Soul Reaper in the Soul Society has finally entered the fray. While he does this, Driscoll admits that he is the one who killed Sasakibe and stole his Bankai, the lieutenant who first died, the lieutenant of Captain Yamamoto. He then proceeds to use Sasakibe's Bankai. He announces that this Bankai hasn't been used in 2,000 years. Isn't it a present? Isn't it a present for you to see it this one last time before you die? He then hurls Sasakibe's Bankai is lightning. So it opens a storm in the sky and lots of pillars of lightning come down. And you cut the lightning with your sword and then drag it forward. It's the fastest Bankai there is. And he throws all of this lightning at Captain Yamamoto, and Captain Yamamoto just stands there and takes it like a boss. It doesn't bother him at all. He then comments on how weak that Bankai was, and it was nothing compared to when Sasakibe used it. And he then absolutely just incinerates Driscoll like turns into ash with Rouge in Jakar, and then in a ball of flame bursts towards the battlefield, claiming that he will kill all of the invading army with his own hands. All of the other Soul Reapers begin to sense Captain Yamamoto's pressure, and this, well, it lifts their spirits, for lack of a better term. They all begin to fight. They all begin to realise we can't lie down here and die. We have to fight. We are the Soul Society. We are the Soul Reapers. We are here to protect this place. If the captain is willing to do it, then we all have to be willing to do it as well. And that was it. That's the last episode. The last episode ends with Shunsui charging forward at Robert once more with his two swords drawn, and then we cut to the cast. If I have to rate these two episodes, 5 out of 5 on both cases. Absolutely phenomenal storytelling, fantastic artwork, beautifully well done. I can't do it justice here. Please go and watch these episodes because there are probably things that I missed. It's still reasonably fresh in my head, but it's so fast-paced, it's hard to keep everything on track sometimes. I am absolutely loving the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I hope you're all loving the 1,000-Year Blood War arc as well. It's a fantastic show. Episodes 4 and 5 were the best ones yet, just from an animation standpoint alone, never mind from storytelling. Absolutely loved it. Hope you all loved it as well. And I will see. I've been Nick the Geek. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, if you like what we do here at GeekBuddy, if you appreciate the content we put out, then please consider leaving a like, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out, and it's the only way the YouTube algorithm really knows we exist. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all next week. Bye.